Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs. Welcome to another episode of Stream of Thought, brought to you by Warui Deshou. We are Warui Deshou. There's no promotional relationship between the two. I am your fumbling host, not the subtle doctor. He's gone. That soft, law-abiding citizen. He's been replaced by me, Buffalo of the office supply closet. Hardened criminal gangster. And I have my equally hardened, equally criminal, equally gangster friend here with me.
I'm no longer Shadon. I am Cock of the Werewolves.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my God.
That's my juvenile mind working there, but
not of the walk.
I could not resist. Like, holy shit, this episode has opened my eyes, I mean, I've watched The Warriors. I mean, I know you've got, like, the baseball furies, the rogues, and all that. But Banana Fish just goes like, no, I can do better. I can do better than that.
Or infinitely worse, which is also better. I mean, this is so this is like, in the joy of these fantastic names, I think lies the secret sauce to our own podcast and what has made it entertaining over the years. That, you can be bad. You can be so very bad that it's quite good.
This is true.
Dick of the Goblins certainly lands
rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Right in that sweet spot. Mwah.
Don't say it. No, you can't
Bullseye.
say Dick of the Goblins landing in a sweet spot like that. God damn it, dog. Oh, man. I mean, Dick of the Goblins sounds like an entirely different work I have no interest in watching. Fucking hell.
Dick of... It's too good. I was just telling you, either someone sat down, someone just to think about this for a really, really long time, or someone just sat up first thing in the morning, Dick of the Goblins, and wrote it down.
Yeah.
And went back to bed, and it was like divine inspiration.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that, Dick of the Goblins sounds to me like, the edgelord fanfiction equivalents of Stick of the Dump. Well, hey, there we are.
That's a good question, Tallulah Belt. Does Ash's gang have a name? I haven't heard it so far. He seems to be the only one that can come up with it. He's not, I don't know. He's not something of the something, but surely, Ash Lynx is kind of... That's not his given name, is it? Like, Mr. and Mrs. Lynx aren't out there roaming around, right? Surely this is a gang thing. And he changed Arslan. We know, is his real name Arslan? And he's just going to go by Ash. Yeah, I agree. Mirror, also my favorite Banana Fish character, despite never having appeared in the show at all. Just posthumously mentioned Dick of the Goblins. And
can you imagine, though? Can you imagine, right, if there was a speaking line for that character, though, Dick of the Goblins? And think of it this way, right? Imagine you're a Japanese voice actor, and imagine you're waiting for work. And then suddenly you get a phone call. Right, look, it's only a bit part, but it'll get you started. Oh, cool, that's great, I'm liking this. What's my character's name? Dick of the Goblins.
Son.
Look, I'm fucking thirsty for a paycheck. I'll do it.
I want that on my IMDb.
But I might just...
No. Dash Dick of the Goblins.
I'm going to go one better. I'm actually at a fighting game tournament this very coming weekend, and I may well just change it so I enter as Cock of the Werewolves.
Okay. Mirror has come up with a brilliant... I don't know what we're going to, give away or offer to, or how we're even going to determine a winner, but we really all should try to come up with a name for Ash's gang, and there needs to be some kind of incentive to do it. It has to be one that is have Dick of the Goblins serve as your guiding star, like your North Star in the sky to coming up with a name for this game. You can also look to such venerable folks as Clyde of the Quasars. Clyde of the Quasar.
Quasar.
An underrated shitty name. Bloody Cain is not terrible. I mean, even though it's like a Fatal Fury thing.
I was gonna say Bloody Cain is not the name of a he's not the name of a gang or a gang leader. He's the name of a Dark Souls boss. Clearly, I mean the way they were describing him, I thought, holy shit, this is literally some Bloodborne shit.
It feels like the assistant to Father Gascoigne. It's like Altar Boy Bloody Cain. And let's not, we did see one of the poorly named, and this doesn't go with the blank of the blank formula, but I thought equally terrible was the, street level, low level thug, simply known as Waxy.
Don't forget Wookiee as well.
Waxy
and Wookiee.
They
were clearly a pair.
Waxy.
Holy crap. I don't even know what to make of this show anymore. Like, it's great, don't get me wrong. I'm loving all of this material. This is great. Like, when Clyde of the Quasars came out, I actually burst out laughing. And that's not me mocking the show because I was watching something stupid and fun.
No.
It was genuinely entertaining. I was like, Clyde of the Quasars. Oh.
It's too good. Like,
well, the Quasars... No, I like to now imagine, right, because they've got these names, the Quasars probably all dressed in neon. So
they have to, yes.
The dark. They look like fucking Tron
like
warriors.
Tron extras.
Yeah, exactly. I just imagine he throwing a light disc at Ash, he just dodges it and kills him dead. I fight for the users. Ah!
Like, there are several moments in this episode that I feel like this is a really prime episode for... I guess for YouTubers and for memers and people that want to just pull various things out of context, because there's a lot here that you could just riff on and good naturedly, make fun of, or maybe not good naturedly if that's your deal. But there is and I want to do that. We have done that, and I want to continue to do it. But also, I feel like we owe the show some kind of engagement in the mood that it's trying to evoke also, despite its own best attempts to pull us out of it with Clyde of the Quasars and an old Goblin Richard, So
live action role players. So basically, the goblins are all Vikings and stuff. I want to imagine that all these gangs are incredibly into their own chosen themes.
Mm-hmm. They have to be.
They're totally into it. If there literally was cowboys, they would be cowboys. They'd go riding down Main Street in New York, shooting guns everywhere.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I'm now imagining some sort of Banana Fish Dojin where there is a cowboys gang and they're just dragging Eiji by a rope down the street like he's the damsel. They got tied to railway tracks or something.
I mean, the original author. Yeah, the original author did say that. Heavily influenced by Midnight Cowboy, they were when creating Banana Fish. Are you ready? Cock of the Wolf, Shadon.
Cock of the Werewolves. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Cock of the Werewolves.
To dive in. Hello, Miss KR. This is the first time I think I've seen you in chat. Greetings, welcome.
Hello. Well, absolutely, Doc. Sorry, no, not Doc. Buffalo of the Home Office Depot, or whatever it was.
The office supply closet.
Not the office supply closet.
Right. Our theme is going to be around office equipment, of course. I'll dress up as a large stapler. Well, our big muscle guy will just be known as the copy machine, and he'll just you'll just slam into him, and of course, there's going to be paper. There's going to be
paper cut shit.
Yes, the 3-hole punch is gonna has the the 3-finger death strike, the 3-hole punch. God, what else is in there? Paper is going to team up with ink. Of course, ink is going to blind the opponents, and then paper will just proceed to cut them down.
Are we describing Banana Fish gangs here or Mega Man villains? I'm really not sure anymore.
What? That's you know what. This is a fair point, and I should probably stop because we're We're really good at running things into the ground, and while it's the kind of humor that I appreciate, perhaps other people actually tuned in to hear about the substance of Banana Fish. So before we dive into episode 12,
ツイッターポール
let's revisit the Twitter polls. Ones from episodes 10 and 11 are still up because of our weird schedule for the last couple of episodes, so you can vote in the following polls. From episode 10. Is Yulung's emotional vulnerability in episode 10 and prior real or an act? Currently 82% believe it is real. He's a real person.
He's a real boy.
That's right. Thank you. Horrible Disney voice actor. Does Banana Fish, hashtag Banana Fish, make you sad? Similarly, 82% say yes. In all caps, yes. 18% say sober, serious, but not sad. Is Ash...
Makes me sober, that's for sure.
Right. Is Ash slowly becoming Golzine? This is from episode 11. Blah, blah, blah. This is where the episode 11 polls begin. Is Ash slowly becoming Golzine when it comes to behavior towards those he cares about? 29% say yes. 71% say no. One of our first 3 choice polls... Is Ash and Eiji's relationship healthy at this point in the series? This point being, again, episode 11. The majority are saying no, but they'll do it. They'll get there. 58%. 39% say it's basically there. And a mere 3% simply say nope.
No, they're the faceless in the audience. They read once made tragedies in a lifetime. I'm thinking me got much staying power.
Here's one that appears to be somewhat contested. More difficult. Ash and Eiji surviving Dino's hate boner. Or developing a healthy relationship for when this is all over.
You need to win a prize for saying that with a straight face. Not many people can say the words hate boner and just not immediately break out to laughter.
I accept cashier's checks and Amazon gift cards. 36% say the boner, and 64% say healthy relationship.
I am clipping that out of
Please.
context.
It hasn't happened yet, which I'm sort of disappointed in our audience with. This Banana Fish run has given you all quite a bit to play with. Is Arthur the Futoshi of this show? 17% say yes, and 83% say lol yes. Somewhat rigged, that one. Also, I figured, we know what? I'll wait till the end of the show to mention that. Let's get into Banana Fish. So now we're done with the polls. Let us talk kutsi, as they say in Austria. Let's now take a look at episode 12. Let me regale you with tales of To Have and Have Not, which is an Ernest Hemingway title reference, of course.
Get him in again.
For once, this is not F. Scott Fitzgerald. But I actually read, I spent, a good 2 minutes doing research for this episode, as you do for a YouTube video that you make. And, this is a story about fishers, about a fisherman who is very, very poor. Things are going badly, and he begins to commit crime in order to take care of his family. You can see how this one maps quite well onto the others. And we make fun of the titles all being references to F. Scott Fitzgerald, mostly because I didn't care for the F. Scott Fitzgerald that I did read. Or I should say, it didn't blow me away. It was fine. 2.5 stars.
Nice when you review that. Excellent.
Right? Yeah, thorough. The Great Gatsby wasn't great. 2.5 stars. So, but I imagine if you actually know the content of the stories, I mean, it seems like when I do read what they're actually about, that they do map nicely and sync up with the episode content. So that's really nice. I mean, if that sort of effort being put into things is super cool. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words I have written down. And my notes are Wookiee, and Dick of the Goblins. So I tried to get us out of this muck, but we're right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Banana Fish episode 12. It was pretty great. Thank you for watching.
Dick of the fucking Goblins. Jesus Christ.
Like, Jesus Christ. On the plus side, though, we do get to see another Dick here, Arthur, getting thoroughly dumped on as usual. So I'm glad that the episode is opening like the previous one did, with that useless brown nose getting you just desserts. That's always great.
Like, I love that being in the background of this episode. Just like every few, like the beginning, the middle, and the end, we check in. It's like, and now back to Arthur. Is Arthur still getting dumped on? Yes. Great.
Fantastic.
Send it back to Ash and Asia. Like, great. Beautiful. Loved it. Oh man. The Sharks and the Jets. I mean, they should have been. I think maybe they felt it tricks. I mean, maybe they were like, look, we're very West Side Story already in Banana Fish. Like, maybe we don't want to go too obvious, and so they tried to sort of replicate those names, and it just didn't quite work. I mean, not that the Jets and the Sharks are these like amazing gag names. I mean,
are they baseball teams?
The Sharks is a hockey team, and the Jets is a professional American football team. Also, no, the Jets is also a hockey team from Canada. I don't want to forget the Winnipeg Jets here. Very important.
They probably all dressed like Casey Jones from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
We can only hope. Because I actually haven't seen West Side Story. So. Oh my God, a Banana Fish musical will be so good. Miss KR, this is such a good idea. It would be, I feel like it could go in a very Andrew Lloyd Webberish direction, which is fine. Or it could be very I guess like other anime, there are various anime musicals that exist, none of which I've seen. But
I've been killing Arthur's men, counting 1, 2, 3, oh, it's 10. That's my musical career over there, folks. Sorry about that. You okay there, dog? You look like you were dying.
I was choking on Pepsi Max. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out
Fish musical. It has to be in the style of the producers. It's got to be Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks.
Did they really have a stage play? That's great.
Ain't all nerd of. Persona 4 had a stage play.
Yep, yeah. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Not musicals, but stage plays. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of anime stage plays. Which, in my mind, sometimes when I read that, I automatically will think musical, but that's not correct. Attack on Titan, the musical. We need that. Yeah, we definitely need that. In my brain, I'm trying to somehow work in a Master of the House thing for Banana Fish, but it's not working. That's one of my favorite musical numbers. That's from Les Mis, if you didn't know, Les Miserables. Okay, enough about that. Let us now finally move past Dick of the Goblins. And
how can we?
So Sing and oh my God, Yut Lung, I couldn't think of his name. Sing and Yut Lung are hanging out, talking, and Yut Lung appears to be getting ready for something, and Sing is the important content of this discussion. I feel like this was an interesting scene. Is that Ash is on the offensive now? Like, that is a new thing. That's Sing, as someone who's kind of worked alongside Ash in that world, knows that he has mainly been a defensive warfare person. Like, he doesn't fuck around with the other gangs unless they start shit with him. It's different this time. And he seems to definitely know that something is up with the Shorter death and Ash's
he's not an idiot.
Relationship to it. Yes. But like, he still also he still wants to move forward with like I was saying, the other day, like that hate in his heart has to have some kind of, like, something has to sate it. You can't just like plunk the feelings over here and never deal with them. Like, someone has to pay. And he's got this narrative in his head that he doesn't even really fully believe, but if that's all he's got to go with, that's what he's got to go with. And Arthur's death, I long for it. Shorter's death needs to be, there needs to be recompense for it. And Yulung will not tell him the truth, though. He simply he speaks a little bit in riddles in Sing's mind. He says he didn't kill him, he set him free. You don't know this, but people like me and Ash and Shorter, like, we live in the hell.
Just to interrupt very briefly.
Okay.
You know when he said set him free? I watched that line before and it just didn't click with me. But is that meant to be a reference to Of Mice and Men?
So I don't know the story well enough, like the writing well enough to know that. Is that a line in the book?
It feels like it is. I read it very long time ago. But yeah, the ending of Mice and Men is someone who is, doomed to death, being set free through execution by his best friend, someone he trusted. I don't know. I feel like I think that line went a bit too under the radar. I was just something that clicked with me then, like, where have I heard this before? He struck my beard in rumination.
Okay, 2 people in chat are talking about the drama CD, the Banana Fish drama CD that exists on YouTube, but apparently is bad because it has a, quote, potato budget. Both Luther and Miss KR have used the phrase potato budget, and I've never heard this phrase before, so I can guess what it means, but I need to know more. Like, what is this in reference to? Why a potato? Why not some other food?
It clearly references Potato of the Budget Gang.
God damn you. Spud of the budget. Spud of the spreadsheets.
Spud.
Fuck, man. Potato budgets. I'm gonna make that a poll. I'm gonna write this down to remind myself to do it when you're talking. Potato budget poll. All right.
Fuck.
So
Okay.
there's Sing, he leaves and says, well, look, if you won't set me straight, I'm just gonna fucking do this shit. So goodbye. Ash, it turns out, I should back up. He makes a phone call. He's in the airport. And he makes a phone call to eBay and says, look, I got 2 tickets to Tokyo, which I feel like is a pop song. 2 tickets to Tokyo. Whoa, whoa. Like, that's got to be, like, a thing. But he's got 2 tickets to Tokyo for leave in 10 days. It's like, this is for you and Eiji. You're gone. 10 days. Yes. eBay, like, seems to be very... I mean, I know he and Ash have, like, a relationship, a weird... Like, it's not... Ash is not just the kidnapper. He's a kidnapper, but also a friend. So, like, he's just is very cordial on the phone with them, you know what I mean? Instead of, like, bring him back right now, you motherfucker! Like, come on, like, release him. You know, it's none of that. Just very much like, so, how's he doing? Is he eating okay? Like, what's been going on?
How's his skin complexion?
What's in your Netflix
Is he
queue?
moisturizing?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, that's just eBay, very passive, you know. That's him. And at the end of the call, he says, I thought this was noteworthy, he apologizes. And, you know, Ash at some point in the call says, you know, Eiji will be ready to return with you because by that point, 10 days from now, he will hate me. And so eBay apologizes, and Ash simply just says, why? And hangs up. Which is like, God, I mean, that's a pretty, like, that's a moment. That's when you just feel empty. That makes you feel very empty. And so after that phone call, he goes to confront Dino in the airport, right? And suddenly, he's there. And Dino Golzine is like,
yeah.
oh,
Oh, Dino.
My boy
Just as
toy.
he's just gone through Juicy Free and he's thought to himself, I got myself a nice bottle of whiskey on the cheap. This day's going fantastic.
Free,
Oh,
right.
oh, crap. So, yeah, doesn't unfortunately,
So, why did Yutlung take Singin in the first place if he's just going to let him go? This is an interesting
he's
question.
He's not holding him captive, literally. I think he's just pushing him around and manipulating him.
Yeah, I mean, it could be it could be his design to kind of stir him up a little bit and send him out, and just he wants to keep track of what he's doing, maybe as a scheme. It's hard to know if he's just fucking manipulating this kid or what he's saying to him is true, because, like we said in that poll, like that applies to everything in his character. Like, are these vulnerable moments real, or is he playing people?
He's playing the Obi-Wan shit. He really is.
When he says, like, I'm in hell, Sing is like, man, that's fucking cheesy, dude, but the way that you look and say it, I actually believe you. So, I mean, it's hard to, like, know what the real face of Yutlung is.
Are we looking at the light side of the moon or the dark side?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Which one is true, you know?
Is he a Pink Floyd fan? I would hope he is.
How can you not be?
That's not the last musical reference we'll make in this, actually.
No, that's true. So back to the airport, right? Golzine, astonished to see Ash here in front of him, tells his man, put your gun away, we're just going to talk. Not here, you idiot. There's a billion witnesses in the airport right now.
It's not like there are armed security staff, in an airport, inside a city where planes have an unfortunately nasty history. Yeah, Golzine's men are not the smartest fucking people on the planet, are they? They're not exactly the sharpest knives in the drawer.
Yeah, Yutlung, to touch on that, he really did get mad when Singh said that he's like Ash. I enjoyed that moment. Also, like, I mean, back to Trickster's initial question about, like, what's going on, and it, like, this is the sort of scene I thought to myself, like, am I suffering here for not reading the manga? Like, maybe there's more to it, what's happening and what's going on. Like, maybe I missed some stuff. But oh well. Anyway, at the airport, yes, we're there. So Ash has a seat and does some cool poses first and sits down across from Golzine and is like, look, and I thought this was pretty significant, actually. He says, look, I used to think if I got rid of you, I'd be free. Like, that's all I need to do is just kill you. But I've realized that what I actually need to do is stop what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And I know kind of the gears have been turning that way, and since, he's found out over time, like, what banana fish is and how exactly it affected his brother and how Dino was involved with it from the beginning.
And shorter.
And so eventually, he ends up there. But I thought this was pretty big. I mean, as just for him to come right out and say it as a declarative, right? I mean, because his motivation really not that long ago was just scrag Dino. I mean, he's the guy who just took a semi-truck, and just rammed it into his club, and was just like, I'm just going to go shoot the guy. Tried to, nicked his shoulder. But, things are going to get more complicated now that he wants to undo his scheme. And so, fast forward a bit, and you have, they're back at the townhome at Ashes.
Oh, you forgot though, they had some amazing banter. So okay. Dino said, you know what, right? I'm going to go get a taxidermist on the way back. His name's Skinner of the taxidermist gang, and I'm going to give him to, send him your way.
Skinner.
Let's see. But Ash has an amazing, like, closing line here, and I was just like, holy shit. We need, like, the CSI New York. Yeah!
Yeah.
Because he says, I hope your plane doesn't crash, because no motherfucker on that plane's going to heaven while you're on it. I'm like, damn!
Yeah.
Damn! I mean...
That fight needed Dino's commentary.
I mean, Dino's got, a glass of wine there. If he wanted any ice go with that, I think Ash just sent some his way. It's fucking cold.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Those were good burns. Emily mentions, Missing scene of Ash having to spend ages queuing and getting x-rayed to get to this scene. I hope that's real. Please let that really be in the manga. So this is pre-super tight American airport security in the manga, so that's probably not the case. But if you want to update it, yeah, he'll have to spend fucking forever, like with his shoes off, standing in line next to a plastic crate with his fucking cell phone in it. And the, creepy officers being like, yes, son, you're getting the pat down. Come on over here. Step into the footprints. So, yeah, back at the townhome across from the Golzine business, Ash is planning more nefarious deeds with his gang, the LARPers. The heretofore unnamed gang, provisionally called the LARPers. Although we should just call them the Streets of Rage extras, because that's what they are.
That's right. I've got a name for them. The Wildcats. There you go.
There you go. Yes, very good. I don't know any of their names, but they're Jim and Chris and Tom of the Wildcats. There.
John.
Boom.
We've got John Panther, Tom Lion. They all write themselves.
Yep. Jaguar McCougarsville. So, Ash is making plans, and Eiji starts to listen in, but then says, nope. I decided to trust him no matter what. And I just shook my head because I knew, that that's gonna lead to some hurt feelings. And Ash comes in and they have a talk, and just Eiji just feels really helpless, that he feels out of the loop and disconnected. Feels like, Ash is doing all these things. He doesn't know about them. He wants to help him, do something that he feels more tangible to him, but he can't do anything. But it turns out he is actually doing something pretty significant, and that he's taking a bunch of pictures of people that show up to the building. And those pictures will be used later via Max to build a case, legal case, journalistic case against Golzine.
And government agents and officials that are coming in there as well.
Yep. So, next big scene, Ash goes to meet Bloody Cain.
Indeed.
And, he charms the shit out of Bloody Cain. But first of all, before he goes, his partner's like, don't go see Bloody Cain. He hates white guys. Which made me laugh. But so Ash, strolls in there alone and is able to, be the pretty peacock amidst the rubble. Or not the rubble, but amidst the garbage or whatever Cain says. He's able to impress him. He's able to be kind of preen around and be bold. At one point, he shoots the hand of a guy that was going to draw on him.
Yeah.
And
Question for you.
Yeah.
If they ran a metal detector over Ash when he was walking, what do you think they picked up first? The revolver or his giant fucking brass balls to go there solo?
Right? Totally.
That's that was his plan, basically, to be such a massive fucking, I could not give less of two shits how many people you got in here. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to tell you how it is, and I'm walking out, and you're going to fucking thank me for the privilege. I was like...
Basically.
Christ.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
And it works!
I know!
That's the best bit!
This might just be crazy enough to work. What I mean? You're either very smart or very dumb. It's one of those stupid cliches.
I'm gonna get Ash's face in this scene. I'm gonna go find the Urban Dictionary wiki page for big dick energy, and that's where this is gonna go. Because it just fits. That's what this is.
Yeah, it does. It does. Totally.
Fuck's sake.
I mean,
but
Cain was smitten, man. He was into it. He's like, look, well, you're going to shoot one of my guys through the hand. You know what? I did you a disservice. You came here honorably to talk with me one-on-one. I shouldn't fuck around. I'm into you. You're cool. Let's be pals. Gang buddies.
Yeah. And this actually is set up as contrast for two scenes. One immediately afterwards, and then one a bit later.
Just the dinner scene. The cutesy dinner scene.
The tone of this entire episode is all over the shop, but the thing is, that's
is.
the intent. Like, tonal dissonance can be used deliberately to sell, a point, and this episode does it magnificently. And also, it means we can dump on Arthur again later.
So happy. Love dunking on the boy. Shoot. What was I talking about? The cute dinner scene. It's overshadowed by a fun dinner scene later, so I just remember it being very cute, even though I just watched it. Very much like you just want to walk up and ruffle Ash and AG's hair and be like, you cuties. Such sweet boys, hanging out and being cool, and it's really nice. And then cut back to Arthur. Clyde of the Quasars was gunned down. No,
not Clyde.
We lost him too. And Arthur's like, how the fuck is he doing this with AG hanging around? Surely he's a liability. Cut to, wow, this scene starring Waxy.
Well, he got waxed.
Yeah, and I always this just made me think like it's either like a fucking old house DJ or like the tree frog. There's like a waxy monkey tree frog that's very tiny and slick and like, I see it at the zoo every time I go to the zoo. Poor Waxy. He gets gunned.
No, Maxie's his cousin.
Yeah, they were, again, DJs, the lot of them. They make traxies. Hot traxies. Chicago house style.
Oh my. That's punishment for me saying the stuff I said before, isn't it?
Yes it is.
Fuck.
Oh, that's God. Right. He tried the natto. This was Ash's Japanese food, and the Japanese people only eat stinky food, like the horrible looking fish, and that it was very cute, very good.
He said the fish stank, but immediately afterwards, completely down to the bone.
He does start just eating the head of it. Wow. So Waxy gets killed, and then the rest of those, I guess those are the fellow Quasars. I don't remember. They also
Waxy. He's Waxy of the candles. They're the candle gang. I won't be stopped. I will keep doing this. You couldn't pay me to stop doing this shit. I live for this. So the candles, of course, all get melted in the.
They get snuffed out.
I can't stop. Told you.
They get snuffed out, and I mean it's it's funny to make fun of the names, but this scene was rough because
it was
they're pleading for their lives and they're not actually doing anything to Ash. You don't actually feel like these guys are involved in the hit mission, although that I could be factually mistaken about that.
I think they were just occupying territory, which he wanted. And, he was clearly, unarmed, pleads like, Arthur made me do it. I'm like, well, everyone can make a mistake. I mean, but cold blood. Cold blood.
And he's like, look, my friends begged for their life the same as you're doing right now. Tough fucking luck, dude. And hey, my accomplices killed them all, has his guys gun him down. And I don't know what blogs that AG's following, because he somehow knows about this before Ash gets back home.
That was quite quick.
News travels really fast. But I mean, I guess if there's a very, I don't know, intrepid crime reporter, maybe he's on it, or she's on it, or they're on it. Excuse me. But somehow he knows before Ash even gets back, right? This is a very eventful scene in the bedroom here at night, and it's like, look, did you do this? You need to be straight with me. What's going on? And Ash is like, forget it. I'm doing it to keep you safe. It doesn't matter. And at some point, though, it gets heated, and Ash is like, look, you say not to, not to do crimes. But who do you think I am? Like, who do you think you're hanging out with? Like, I told you I'm a murderer. You see me kill people. You know what kind of person I am. And it's really, really fucking interesting exchange here when AG's like, look, I hate this, like, to see you lower yourself, I guess, like, to be involved in murder and crime and everything when you're so gifted. Like, you have a gift. And Ash is like, what the hell are you talking about, you know? And he doesn't see it. And Ash is like, he just gets even angrier. It's like, I've never asked for this gift. Right? I mean, you, Age, you want to talk about how I don't understand how ungifted people like you feel. Like, you're not even trying to understand me. I don't fucking want this shit. I'd never have wanted it. But it's this world I've been swallowed up by. How about you try to understand me? And he storms out. And the next day, library time. Very, again, tonal shift, whoosh, like more back toward the middle. And AG tracks Ash down in the library, which is where he always goes to read American literature, obviously, like Hemingway and Fitzgerald. When he wants to be alone, and they reconcile in that scene. It's very cute. And then we find out that Arthur wants a fucking duel. He wants
Arthur goes and sees bloody Cade with some guys with him, and Kane says, "Oh, he came here. You know, Ash came here alone." What's Arthur's response to that? It's looked like he's got a slap's ass for a face. Honestly, I swear blind, Arthur is just how is Arthur? That is my question. How is Arthur? Like, I'm honestly surprised he hasn't swallowed his own tongue yet. He's just bad at everything.
He's very bad. What are the progress report? I mean, at one point, like, surely, you know, Dino or someone has to call in, you know, Arthur, it's Golzine. Give me a status update. How many limbs did you cut off of the lynx? How bad is he suffering right now? Thing is, boss, he's still free. What? Yeah, and he's killed several of our top gangs. I mean, he just,
Arthur,
what was he thinking leaving him in charge?
Arthur, listen to me, right? Can you count how many people have died on your fingers?
No.
Well, exactly, because once I get back, I'm chopping them off. I'm gonna feed it back to you, useless piece of shit.
You know, Ash may have been merciful to you, but I won't be. And that's, again, like, in that scene with Waxy and his friends getting murdered, like, I just couldn't help but think back and be like, you know, Ash was once quite, you know, merciful. And he bigs up how much of a murderer he is and how shitty he is, but I really do. I mean, that scene really does represent a Rubicon, you know, and he sees the blood on his hands, and things have changed, really have changed since Shorter's death. Like, I mean, as, you know, nefarious as the things he was doing were, like, I mean, he's just killing innocent people now, and didn't do that before. But anyway, yeah, so Arthur wants this fucking high noon, like, duel, right? Like, one-on-one, and it's obviously going to be a trap. Kane, who's been asked to be the observer, knows it. Ash knows it. Everyone knows it. But I suppose that Ash has been, like, touched by AG's forthrightness, because he says, you know, at least, you know, maybe a trap, but at least this way I don't just have to, like, indiscriminately kill random people now. I can just get to the root of the problem and kill this asshole. And he's known it's been coming since day one, he says. And so Mr. Kane accepts the role, And then we get Max. Max is back in the story. Welcome back. And his part that we talked about.
Oh shit! This is Ash's TED Talk. This is great. This is the best thing ever. This contains not only a reference to a film I'm quite fond of, but also, the allegory, the true allegories to modern U.S. political situation. I fucking rolled over sideways when Golzine was transparently superimposed over the US flag. I was like, you can't be fucking serious, banana fish.
Yeah.
Golzine 2022. Fuck my life.
I have to admit, my eyes kind of glazed over during this part when they were talking about the sort of, the 80s geopolitics, like kind of crowbarred into like the modern day story. It was all very like, what I got out of it was like, okay, the United States wants to set up a puppet state in the Middle East and wants like to generate some coups d'etats and install their own puppet leaders in various Arab states. And like, he's going to use banana fish to make this happen, right?
Not unheard of, funnily enough, in fiction. Frederick Forsyth's The Dogs of War is one key example of that, although that was more of a private company doing it. But anyway. But yeah, not reasonable. I think this is something I speculated on, like that you could use it like as a mass, reprogramming thing. I don't know how you'd get, because clearly suggest. Anyway, let's not get worried about the mechanics of it. But yeah, this is the wider game, the longer game that Ash is now talking about. And this is what he said before about how he was no longer satisfied with just simply, offing Golzine, because there's a wider evil as a result of this, with the way it's being used and what they're going to do with it.
Right.
I mean, he's seen firsthand what it's done to, his brother and his best friend. So that's it. If he takes out Golzine, that doesn't, eliminate the threat of banana fish entirely. Someone else could get it out of it. Someone in the government could use. I mean, hell, the government's involved already. So, if Golzine gets off, they don't give two shits about that as long as they've got what they need. Yeah. Which is, at the very least, the formula for me. So, there's a longer game going on here.
I guess, well, you know what? I'll save this for talking point. Let me write this down, because I just thought of a thing I'd like to bring up. And I'm also going to write down this just so I remember to talk about it later, because I will forget. Yeah, Max, take these pictures, take this theory, run with it, bring it down, this whole scheme, etc. And to me, the best part of this scene is when at the end Max says, innocence can be more dangerous than guns. And that was so good, because it's a really roundabout way. I think maybe not roundabout, but that's his way of saying, you got this Achilles heel, dude. Like, it's going to be your downfall, I think. It's making you behave weirdly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I initially read that as him thinking of Eiji being innocent.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I thought.
But he's also saying it about Ash a little bit as well. Because Ash has never really, cares for someone as he does Eiji right now. So this is uncharted territory for him. It's not something that he is familiar with or understands very well. And clearly it's already, been recognized as a weak spot for him. Mm-hmm. So, for all the stuff that he is... for all the stuff that's happened to him and all the ways that he's been taught and all the horrible shit that's gone down, there is still innocence in it. But the problem is that right now, that's potentially quite dangerous.
Got a brain like a computer most of the time, but as Aki says, he can't think straight with Eiji around. And Ash is like, look, shut up. Get off my back. All right, I haven't told them we're leaving tomorrow, okay? I'll tell him. Just leave me alone. And then he goes back home, and I have to say, biggest spit take moment for me in the entire show, the Halloween surprise party. Like I died. Like
Yeah.
I was fucking not expecting that at all. That was.
Ash Lake's scourge of the underworld.
Yep.
Murderer of 1,000
And then
gang
like
members.
putting together a complicated like case, the wire light here against Dino. He walks to the door. Torito.
I've just realised if Arthur, because this is New York, wants to, properly, deal with Ash forever, they need to exploit this fear of pumpkins and become the Green Goblin.
Oh, stop it.
Pumpkin bombs.
Stop
Pumpkin
it.
bombs.
Do you have a Willem Dafoe impersonation that you'd like to share?
Oh, no one can impersonate Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe cannot impersonate himself. It's not possible.
It's true. Boy, that was really, and like the whole, like, where did you get these pumpkins? Like, oh, like so and so from downstairs. You're buddies with the housewives, like that live here. Yeah, we see each other all the time. Shop. It was so funny to me. I enjoyed it. Again, that was
to murder again.
It was
no.
It was a hard right tonally, but this whole episode was was veering back and forth, and it's fine. It's fine. I was fine with it. And after everyone goes to bed, everyone but Ash and Eiji, they're drinking and talking. And can I just say, like, the music during this scene, incredible. Oh, it was so good. It was like almost, it was not quite a tonal fit, but like very almost a tonal fit for Bakemonogataris type stuff. Like really beautiful piano. The notes of this they just hit me right here.
I have to say, like, just to get the music stuff very brief, didn't we have some, like, I think it was Jamaican drums or early on? Like, that was great as well. Generally speaking, the music throughout this show, not only has it been varied, but it's just been fantastic. All the original pieces are great.
The artist is really so talented, and I can never remember the name because I know his actual name is different from his performer name. I can't fucking remember, but like.
Oh, is he Banjo of the Drums gang?
Of the quarter note. Yes, that's him.
Too easy.
Yep.
Too easy.
Yeah. So yes, you have this smashing mother. God damn it, Blue Sea. The smashing pumpkins pun.
Make a fucking gif out because that was spectacular.
Thank you, Syria. It was Mondo Grosso is the performer name. Yeah, crushing it. Fucking crushing it. Musically. But so they're talking, and this is when, and someone mentioned this scene from the manga in an earlier episode we did, but
They did, yes.
I can't remember if it was in chat or if it was a comment that happened. But anyway, so they're talking to each other about, like, well, Ash brings it up. It's like, so Eiji, Ei-chan, Oni-san, do you have a girlfriend back home? And Eiji's like, no. But what about you? I'm sure the ladies love you, Ash. And he's like, well, yes, they do. But quite frankly, I couldn't give more of a shit or less of a shit. Because, it all to him in some ways feels like a power play on their part. Everyone wants to be the boss's girl. Every girl wants to be on the boss's arm and feel special and protected. And doesn't care about that, doesn't care about them, he says straight up. But he did love one girl, it seems. When I think they were, was he 14? Was she 14? Or were they both 14?
He was 14.
Okay.
I can't recall what age she was, if it was mentioned.
Okay. So, he'd fallen in love with her, but the criminal world that he is a part of discovered, or, they didn't discover this because they weren't actually dating. She wasn't actually his girlfriend. But that association
Doesn't matter at the end of the day, like what they,
yeah, that perception, they perceived her as girlfriend and they took her out, and he could not save her. He couldn't stop it. So that, you know, an early kind of refrain, a part that becomes a refrain in Ash's life, and he can't protect the people he cares about.
Yeah.
And so, like, okay, you know what? Never mind. We'll talk about this. Making a note for later. All right. And he basically ends the conversation with, you know, are you feeling sorry for me? You know, you should, like, the world won't let me be a part of it anymore. Won't let me be part of, like, the normal slice of it. Like, this is just my life. So let's not talk about it anymore. Let's not talk about crime or whatever. Like, let's just fucking hang out and drink. And cut to the morning. Ash, in a lovely A shirt, answers the phone, and it's time for the fucking duel. And shades
literally
up.
at dawn.
Yep, exactly. Puts on his shades, puts on his military jacket, off to war, off to the OK Corral.
When two sides go to war.
Yeah, right? Like, off to the fucking trap that will be sprung upon him. And so that's, you know, here we are, ding, 56 minutes in. We finished the summary. So yeah, that's episode 12. Man, I really like this. But we're going to rate the episode in a little bit. First, we want to get deeper into some of the finer points. So, Shadon.
Talking points.
Okay, I'll fire
points.
this. Let's talk about blood. Now, here's the thing, right?
The Last Vampire, the 2000 anime based on the thing
Not the video game either.
Mamoru Oshii wrote about being confined to that cabin in the mountains for a year.
No. What I'm referring specifically to is Ash's, like, almost I would call it self-destruction or self-destructive nature. And I'm not talking in the the standard kind of nature you might think, which is, you know, oh, he's doing drugs, he's, you know, bingy, all that sort of, like, you know, behavioral stuff. I'm talking because he very clearly has charted a course for himself for what seems like a couple of reasons. But this became clear to me because in the scene immediately, or rather the moments following the execution of Waxy and his fellow Candlemen, he looks at his hands and sees blood on them. Here's the thing. We've had at least 2 scenes before that I can recall in this show where Ash has looked at his hands. Wasn't any blood on them that time, though. This is a clear progression. He recognizes it. He doesn't stop himself from doing it. He keeps going forward, you know, painting his hands with more and more blood. And in some way, I think this might actually delineate, even if he won't admit it, he maybe doesn't feel quite as guilty with Shaw's death as, you know, he otherwise would appear to. I mean, come on, we all agree here, you know, that's not really his fault. He had no choice.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Shitty, horrible situation. But I think that, you know, in that case, like, you know, here with this time, like, there was, you know, he could have just taken the guy's fucking feet off or something, I don't know, and just let him go. That was it. But Mash marks it very clearly at the start here that he's going to make AG hate him. So I'm curious, actually, about what's happening with this whole gang war thing. In terms of just, like, what Ash is doing, are his methods for doing this gang war and accomplishing what he needs to do strictly necessary? I mean, could he just in theory run them out? Could he beat the shit out of them? You know? There's plenty of ways to intimidate and force people to do what you want without flat out killing them, leaving them, you know, in pools of blood in the street. So this, funnily enough, is where also the idea before, like, the 2 stories starts intertwining a bit. Because Ash, you know, he's got to win this gang war. He's got to take Arthur down. That we all agree on. The question is how he goes about it. And I would the opinion that he doesn't need to be anywhere near this forceful to earn, you know, the respects of other people or to even just, you know, wow, get what he wants or wins. he's doing this because he deliberately wants to paint a picture of himself as a psychopath in order to drive AG away, because he knows full well that AG won't fucking leave with his, because if Ash said to him, just go, he'll come back. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Ash revealed to him, oh, I've got plane tickets for Tokyo. AG will just take it and rip it up in front of him, or he won't even go, or he'll get to the gate and turn right back around. So I'm very interested because, like, Ash, his struggle at the moment is finding out who he is as a person, who he is as an idealized version of himself. Like, what's the best version of Ash there is out? Who is the best version of him? And we're not really getting either of those right. We're not getting the best of him, like when he's relaxing with Asia, because he's always got that criminal stuff on his mind, and vice versa. It's kind of like, leaning onto each other. We can't really solve one without, sticking hands in the other. So I am very curious as to where this will go and how much it will damage him permanently if, doing this. Because it's not an unheard of tactic for people to do this, when they want to drive people, they'll deliberately be heinous and awful. They'll scream at them saying, like, I hate you, and, like, ruin my life and all that. But is that what he really wants? I mean, I speculated in the previous episode that he would try and keep AG in there, but he's actually gone in the completely opposite direction. But funnily enough, his behaviour, in my opinion, is just as bad for himself and for AG as it would have been if he had done it the other way anyway. So I'm keeping a close eye on this because we want Ash to succeed.
We do,
but we don't just want him to succeed in the material game in front of him. Winning this war, getting rid of banana fish forever, because he can win the war. But how many people do we know who've come back from war? Like Griffin, for example, he was a shell of his former self. Just because you win a war doesn't mean you come away unscarred. There's a lot at stake here, and he's making what I would argue to him seem very sensible choices, but also are pretty bad.
So two things. One is earlier, the last shot of Ash looking at his hands, I remember, was him crying into his hands, and I suppose in that sort of scene you could see that as like the tears of remorse kind of washing away any real culpability that he had for having to do what he did. Like, it was a thing, it was a kind of me or him moment, a thing that he had to do to protect someone, and he regretted it and felt deep sorrow over it, and so those are kind of tears of absolution in a way, but that's not the case now.
Just to address that scene, though, it wasn't him or Shorter. It was Shorter or AG. So
that's what I mean. Yeah, protection.
Horrible thing to say here, but let me just throw the suggestion out. Imagine an alternate version of Banana Fish where instead he shot AG dead instead of Shorter. Now that sounds crazy, and it is, but it would have solved the problem. Because bear in mind, Short was being driven mad to kill AG because he was there. Kill him dead. Short, stops. Probably would have ended up taking his own life in the end because of Banana Fish. Ash doesn't know that, though. So there is technically two choices here in, the horrible visual novel kind of way. But
I mean, that's asking a lot, though.
It is. And I'm certainly, it's awful to make a moral calculus out of this whole thing of Shorter. I do think he made the right choice. But as is clear, like it's going to turn out with everything else that was thrown out, it came at a heavy fucking price. A real heavy price. The price of a part of his soul, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
He's just been trying to rediscover his soul after all this time being Golzing's, plaything. Gets a little bit of it back, and it's just immediately wrenched away from him.
It's like, what, when you say, my other thing, responses, when you say that his methods of war are not entirely necessary, like what's a kind of, not to get too much into the weeds, but bullet point outline, like what's the alternative plan?
Well, let me stretch on my, draw on my knowledge of gang warfare, stretching back to many miles through the Manchester's. No,
do you have a university certification in gang war? Didn't you take some classes? You
Look,
have
right,
to. The werewolves make you to become their leader.
Cock of the werewolves.
That's
yeah.
right.
Well, anyway, for me, like, rough them up. The threat of death or severe injury can push people to do many things.
Thank you.
Like-
Yes. What is it? Thomas Hobbes. You know that the one. You know, Ash's world isn't entirely the state of nature, but it's pretty damn close. the largest motivating factor in that kind of environment, according to Thomas Hobbes, is fear of violent death.
Exactly. Like, this is like, after all, the gang kind of fell into this kind of equilibrium before, and there wasn't open warfare up until this point. Something, of course, sets them off. So, to me, I always think to myself, you know what? Is this strictly necessary? Because narratively, it makes more sense to me to actually be doing this because he knows he doesn't need to go that far, but is going that far, crossing the line deliberately, sees it right in front of him, steps over it because he knows that it's going to feed back to AJ, and AJ's going to react negatively to it and be, pushed away from it. Although, unfortunately, the problem is that, sometimes some people in their relationships to you are kind of elastic, and that you push them away, they will just rebound right back. I mean, AJ's not an idiot. He knows it's doing him harm.
I mean, AJ's pretty amazing. He's really fucking amazing. Like, or you could say he's pretty stupid, I guess. But like,
he's the right person for the entirely wrong place.
Well, it's becoming clear to me that he's not in love with like the idea of Ash or even the exterior appearance stuff. Like, he cares about the 17-year-old boy that's like inside there and beneath all that. Like, that actual person that maybe he can't even really fully see him all the time because he's so covered up, but like when he kind of gets glimpses or when they're alone together, like, he loves that boy, that person. And man, it's really special.
I mean, here's a question for you,
man.
right? Actually, come to think of it. So we mentioned, of course, the Halloween party scene. Question to those in the audience as well. If I showed you that scene out of context before, in fact, actually, we'll include Ash and AJ talking to each other after everyone falls asleep. Ramsel Point mentions his, lady friend when he was 14. We'll stop there. So imagine everything from the point in which Ash walks through the door and gets spooked by the pumpkins to just before that point. If I showed you that bit out of context, would you believe at all that Ash was involved in anything like what he actually is involved in the fucking show?
I know.
Or would you just believe this is slice of life stuff right here?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. And that's the thing, like, AG is actually, cultivating this and giving him a taste of life, of living, of being a regular person who can have goofy shit like this happen to him, where, someone picks up I'm afraid of pumpkins, and holy crap, it's the fucking, pumpkin monster from Power Rangers has just turned up in my house. Holy crap. Man.
Is there a persona that's just a pumpkin?
That would be Jack O'Lanson.
Okay, so which is the Jack Frost King derivative? Oh, Pyro Jack. Yeah. That's okay. Yep, Pyro Jack shows up at your house. Oh man, that was so good. Okay, have ye more to say, or shall we press on?
No, not at the moment.
All right.
I want to return to the scene a bit later because I'm going to actually address the big question.
Okay,
I'm going to tackle it head on because I know people have had discussions about this. I think it's about time we address it directly.
Okay, all right. So for here's my next.
All right, Buffalo, hit me.
All right. Ash's gift. Boy, I'm so happy that this is a thing, that this element has been introduced into the story, because okay, so first of all, like, what is it? Like, what the fuck is AG talking about? Like, it was mentioned in chat, like, his leadership, his charisma, his X factor, you know, his it factor. Like he's got it, right? Like
that special something.
Whatever you call it, like people.
The
people
secret blend
want,
of 11 herbs and spices.
People want to follow him. People are drawn to him. People listen to him, and people will fight with him and for him. You know, I mean, he wandered into Bloody Cain's den alone and came out with not just alive, but he shot a man, had no scratch on him, and was able to get his demands met. Like, he is, just a special kind of guy. And, you know, whether or not you want to call it leadership or what, like, he's just something that draws people to him. He's got a special kind of charisma, and he, of course, as many people do, I think, or many people that have talents are like this. At least, in my opinion, it's talents that aren't like quantifiable. So, like, you know, basketball players will see that they're good basketball players because there are these games that they play, and you can judge their stats and they be like, oh, look, I did well relative. But, like, you know, there's not an equivalent of that for this sort of thing. But a lot of people that have these talents and kind of soft skills don't really see that about themselves. Other people have to point it out to them. And I think this is like, you know, when people... I have a thought here, and it's not fully formed, but I guess to just blurt it out here, like, this is what the other life for Ash could be, right? When you talk about, like, oh, he's just a criminal, like, all he's good for is crime, and he's only been in this, like, what could he do? Like, this is the only life he knows. It's like, well, you could, like, someone like this, I guess, with his talent, the contention I think that Eiji is making is that he could do really well for himself outside of this, because that is gonna, like, it's not gonna matter. Like, what am I trying to say? That skill will transfer, right? It's not like, you know, like, like I can't shoot my gun anymore or whatever. You know, he still will be who he is, no matter if he's in a gang or not. He'll still have his charisma. He'll still be a leader. He'll still draw people to his cause and motivate and ignite them and activate them. And that's really powerful and can be used in a lot of different ways. And Eiji is just so frustrated because he feels as being wasted in this life. And I mean, and I just love that Ash, like, his, you know, the way he sees it from the inside is, all it's done is bring me pain. All it's done is attract people like Golzine and people like Arthur and, you know, gross politicians, older men that want to take advantage of me. Like,
who else is it attracted? Who is in that room right there with him now?
Exactly. It can bring a lot of good, but his experience has been so bad. I mean, since the days of the baseball coach. I mean, that's been imprinted on his life. And and I don't know. This just feels like a very kind of important and astute thing that was brought up. It feels like the author really thought about the characters and has a real relationship with those character concepts and has a really good handle on these characters and their formation. I loved that this was brought up. I thought it was very cool. Yeah,
I agree. For me, the concepts of Ash having a gift, so to speak, I am of the opinion it's not a quantifiable thing, but it's something that changes and, you know, snowballs over time. I mean, funny as this might sound, there's not really so much a disconnect as you might think between how characters in the world of an artificial Ash as we, the audience, do, with a sense of awe and reverence. We're, like, you know, taken aback by all the things he's accomplished. That to, you know, basically be Golzine's, you know, plaything for so many years and still be amazingly, like, you know, this mostly fully functional adult, when in the context of criminality, of course. I mean, he probably wouldn't know how to do an average 9-to-5 job or understand how that would feel. But for me, like, it's one of those things that once you start building on that legend, like, people are drawn to you. I mean, the funny thing is, when you were saying about the idea of gift, leadership? Do you all know which character sprung to mind? Have a guess. He's also very charismatic and very pretty.
Yutlung?
No. Not from Banana Fish. Again, where
Oh,
else?
Mr. Griffith.
Yes.
The White Hawk himself. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The White Hawk himself.
Totally.
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
he
man.
had it. He had it. Absolutely had it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's one of those things like where Ash, like, it's again something you can't really quantify. I think it's just always going to be a question also of environment as well, more than anything. Because let's be fair, quote unquote, here, although I would never presume to give this to someone in exchange for what, of course, was done to Ash. But he was very well educated. He was, and the thing is, he lapped that all up. He's obviously, been given the opportunity to bloom. Again, must stress, that does not justify anything that happened to him. But I think that, when people are given the chance to exercise their potential, they do it. And he is certainly doing that even now. He's a fucking sharp guy. A sharp lad. And he's got plans in mind. But the thing is, all of this talent, as he rightly points out, what has that got him? It's been to serve a function. Everything that he has learned from Golzine, everything that he has, been honed to do, has never been for his own benefit. It's really instead been, playing dress up of sorts for Golzine. You like how when Golzine put that little, breast stud on his ear, the little green jade thing that was worth several $1,000s. I would argue that teaching Ash to enjoy wine, that's doing the same thing. It's not so you can see. So, undoubtedly, as you say, people are certainly very attracted to him and his charisma and his talent. But he is very right in asserting that it was never for his benefit to learn any of this, to learn any of the things that he knows. I mean, heck, something that might be interesting to see, although I don't know if he'll do it because, of course, there is a lot of, story still to get through, is what if Ash were to learn, take a hobby up? I mean, it sounds strange, but just bear with me. What if he were to take on, a hobby of something? Let's say he started learning how to write, like he wants to become an author. Something that he has chosen for himself. Something that he's chosen that he wants to do and wants to be. Because he currently can't see the forest for the trees right now. What happens afterwards? Never mind what happens with aging. So, see how things go. But I can totally see why people certainly respect and admire him. And I think also adversity plays into that as well. People tend to love, the idea of someone overcoming hurdles and, knockbacks in life. And what more of a mountain could you say that you had to, overcome than what's happened to him?
So yeah, so sorry I got up and there's this weird beeping coming from the window to my right. It's more like a so I don't know what beep is not the right word, but it's is that car alarm? Is there a bomb about to go off? Is my computer beeping? So yeah, I just had to ascertain what the hell that was. All right. It's time for your second talking.
ネクストポイント
All right, I'm going to go into the big one here because this is kind of the only thing I have.
Should I put my feet up here?
All right, so let's talk about are Ash and Eiji, or at least is one of them, in love with the other? And I'm not talking in a familial or brotherly sense. I am talking full on, romantic.
Romantic.
Yeah, not bromance. Romance.
Right.
Different thing. So people have discussed before, about how the manga goes and how this presents itself, that it may very well just simply be platonic friendship. And then there's, of course, the grade...
Before you continue, let's take a break. A tease in the business. The radio business.
I thought I was Copper the Werewolf, but you're the real dick around here doing that.
We'll be right back, folks. To discuss the juicy topics. We're back. Thanks for being patient with us. Proceed,
Thank you very
Shadon.
kindly, folks. All right, so big question. Let's get to it. Because we are at the halfway point of the season now. And
Yes.
of the show even, sorry. And it might very well be, a good time to take stock of where we are. So, question. Are Ash and AJ either in love with each other, or is one in love with the other, or are they not quite there yet? Is it strictly platonic? Is it, very sanitized, so to speak, and that they're not going to get into, more sexual kind of thing? What level does this fall on? Where do we stand currently? And the reason I ask this is because, funnily enough, the conversation that Ash and AJ have at the end, where Ash starts probing him about girlfriends. Now, can read this two ways.
Look, they're not gay. Look. Look.
Well, there's that. There is that. But then again, I have seen that tactic used, and I will be fair, I've been guilty myself. I've asked women, before, have you got a girlfriend? Sorry, wrong thing. Have you got a boyfriend? That's what I meant to say. In the security's kind of way of showing interest.
Mm-hmm.
Not an uncommon tactic. And I've read it in that way. I read it, he was probing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was definitely probing.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, I'm of the opinion at the moment that I think that Ash has got pretty strong affection for AJ. I would say love even. AJ, I don't think knows really what he wants, right? And I think that when, further down the line, push comes to shove, be it, because some horrible event happens or because he simply finally gets given that plane ticket to Tokyo, that's when he might finally understand it. But I am of the opinion that this is definitely getting romantic. Slowly. Because, outside context is pressuring him out of it. But I am hoping that it does develop along those lines, because I am of the opinion that, again, this show is trying to create a thesis in that, here's all these various relationships that we've painted thus far, and the power plays and how people treat, how people use sex as enslavement and such, and just strictly for pleasure. That to me was the thesis it builds up, but not the thesis it agrees with, and certainly not the one it wants to sympathize with. You can't put a viewpoint like that forward in a work and only then tear it down. I am hoping that Banana Fish does start delivering on that. Because you put it best, actually, Doc. You said that if they didn't deal with any of the stuff, where Ash was like, don't touch me. Don't touch me. If they don't then deliver on any more explanation of that beyond maybe the comic hijinks of, ointment, no, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sensitive. I will actually be probably a bit disappointed. Not to the point of disliking the show, of course. It's not a case of, it's all or nothing on this. It doesn't hinge on it to be successful. But I am still of the opinion, that romance can come from, dark places. There's lights at the end of the tunnel, and I think that it's just... I don't know. How do you feel about how far we've come so far? I mean, the thing is, I keep coming back to the fact a lot's happened.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really been time to have a sit down to, bond properly. The only way that these two have been forged has been fire. So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I feel like, yes, a lot has happened, and I'm pretty pretty good with the way things are moving and progressing. I agree that they were both, had been drinking and were both kind of unguarded talking. So yeah, this felt like intimate conversation, probing to see if they have a significant other. And not being, being a straight person myself, I have no idea what it's like to approach another person and want to express my romantic interest in them, but also not want to come off like a jerk if they are not also gay. If they're a straight person, don't want to offend them or anything. I imagine that's just very hard. So, and they haven't known each other that long, and they feel a strong connection. So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some doubt in Ash's mind if he feels the same spark, or same romantic spark if AG does or AG just feels sort of differently. I don't know, but yeah, I agree it was probing, and I don't know. Like I think it's funny how like things like this will be used as like a club to beat the theory that they're gay when like the same charity is not extended to points of evidence on the other side. There's like a massive mountain of evidence that they are into each other, but it's like explained away. But then like one kind of whatever line, it's like aha, the fucking smoking gun right here. And like I mean honestly, like in a way I sort of feel like who cares about all this. I feel like Ash loved her, now Ash loves AG in the same way.
It's a prophetic warning though.
Love exactly. Yeah, totally. That's I mean look at like I feel like that right there, that literary kind of allusion is an extremely strong indication that what Ash feels for AG is romantic love. Because that's why this element is introduced. To be like, the last time I felt this way about someone, read in big bold letters, the same way I feel about you. I couldn't protect them. But like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the thing here to take away is like, when love kind of happens to you, like gender can be secondary, I guess, in people's cases. In a lot of people's cases, I mean, I think you posited the theory before that, Ash could be bi, and then getting into the weeds of this is so silly and unproductive.
Yeah, but I also have to wonder, like, to play devil's advocate, is it moving too slowly? Because we're now halfway through, and that kind of conversation feels like putting the brakes on a little bit, to be honest. Like, we're just testing the waters. I'm not going to go on that. I'll be fair, they did kiss, but then again, that kiss was also, a delivery method for a secret message in the prison. So that happened. It's hard, because pacing, a relationship in fiction, especially with all this going on, is difficult. And I do have to wonder, like, depending on what you come to Banana Fish for, it may be unsatisfying in some respects and also very satisfying in others. Maybe, maybe the crime element is generally the best bit of it. Like, you want to see what happens next. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was pumping my fist in the air seeing Golsey get fucking shot on previous episode. But if you come to it for the romance element, like, is that good enough? Is it not good enough?
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
Strange. It's not something I would ever definitively, state for the record. Like, I can only speak, for myself on this. And for me, I'm again just going to have to wait and see how it happens with the remainder of the show. Because it wouldn't be fair for me to condemn it right now for simply not delivering on that element when it's been kind of teasing it for so long. But again, context is key, and there hasn't really been time for them to, be romantic or be involved. Which indeed, these are the first few scenes, along with what we saw in the previous episode, where they actually kind of get that. And well, Ash has now just disappeared to go and gunfight Arthur at the fucking crack of dawn. So, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I feel personally pretty good about it. Like, I guess the point, I think, in some ways, I guess people are gonna kind of think what they want about it. It's sad, but if Ash and AG are, next episode they're sleeping together, people will be like, this isn't real Banana Fish. Like, this is like the SJWs ruining more shit. You know what I mean? Like, so like, the question won't be solved for anybody if that happens. So like, I guess more than like convincing people who don't feel the same way I do, like, I sort of am like, whatever, like, people kind of approach this how they want to approach it. I just want to see them together more and more and more. I like when they're together. I want their relationship to progress. I mean, unless something really drastic happens, I really do feel like, I mean, what I said in a past episode will come to pass, that their relationship will remain platonic. If any kind of physicality will be in terms of like outright romance stories, seem tame. You know, it'll be touching, that's allowed, but not
Poking, yeah,
like hand holding, you know, that sort of thing. But like, I don't know. I'm kind of fine with it right now. The way I'm feeling really, really even keel about it now. I'm really happy with where we are, because I, as an audience member, and again, I don't speak for all audience members or other communities that may come to the show expecting different things, but myself, I feel pretty well served on both fronts, because the crime drama stuff is very compelling, very fun, and the relationship stuff is indeed, you know, moving slowly, but I think moving. But and they get these moments together, and I just treasure them. They're so warm and good. That is
true. That is very true. I mean, let's be thankful for what we've got, I suppose. That's the thing. But yeah, I'm all right with it at the moment, but I hope it starts delivering a bit more on it later on.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. I just want to fuck. There you go.
That is also what I want. And I want like a halo to be drawn over it and be like, this is like, yes, Ash, like, look, the sex can occur and it can be so fine and healthy and good. It's good. It's life affirming. Yay.
I mean, I literally just wanted, like, when they were looking at each other while they were drinking those beers, for Ash just to crush it in his hand, and then that's the metaphor, and it just cuts off from
there. And then fireworks are happening in the outside.
Sausage factory. This is why I don't direct anime.
Right.
This is why I'm not a storyboarder, because I'm just a horribly crude person. I'm sorry. Anyway, do you have another talking about Hair Doctor? Oh, sorry, I
do.
Say Buffalo.
I do. Let me hit the old sounder.
Next point.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Trickster says the trick to tragedy is make sure that everything happens to the characters is the opposite of what you want. I mean, sure, right? I mean, yes. I think that approach taken too far can drive people away from weekly entertainment, for sure. See what's happening in American wrestling fandom right now. But yeah, right? I mean, that it is certainly like a game of the creators striking this balance, right? Of like not giving everybody what they want too soon, or knowing when to do it. When, you know, because you absolutely do need payoff. These things do need to be paid off in some way. You can't keep subverting and fucking people over every single week. I mean, I guess you can, but like,
if you're 91 days,
it's not satisfying for the viewer.
If you're 91 days, it's like I said, it depends on what the quote-unquote contracts of a show is when it sets out.
No, that's a good way to put it.
Like, what is the show explicitly saying to you, or inexplicitly saying to you, what it's going to deliver week on week?
Yeah.
Like, when I watch Macross.
Yeah, because you could, you're totally right, because you could want these unreasonable things as a view, but, like, that's not what the show is trying. Yeah. No, that's totally unreasonable. You're
and there are
right.
There are two kinds of bad shows as a result of that. Here's the thing. You can have a show where the contracts is never clear to anyone who watches it. It doesn't know what it wants to be, it doesn't know what it wants to present. And you can have another show which, not because of deliberate artistic intent, but just because of sloppiness, doesn't deliver on what it promises. I mean, how many shows have we watched that have done that? Like, I think most of the shows that I've watched that have been absolutely shockingly awful are ones where they promised something and not ultimately delivered on it, be it because they just diluted the concept too much, or what we got instead was, well, crap. I mean, funnily enough, I was listening to Anime Feminists podcast on our old, favorite,
man,
punching bag.
I saw it come across my timeline and like I retweeted it and stuff, but I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to go back to that headspace.
It's great. It's a great cast.
I bet it's very good.
They all make fantastic points. They're all great. So yeah, shouts to Peter, Caitlin, and Natasha on that one. You guys all did a bang up job. That was cracking.
So Caitlin, Natasha, and who? Peter Phobian, did you say?
Correctamundo.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah. Cool.
That's what. But yeah, like, so for me, like, when it comes to what we're seeing here, the contract of Banana Fish with me personally, not speaking for everyone, is two things. You know, you get the boiler stuff and you get the crime stuff, and that ties back into the point I made, which is how well is it delivered? What's the pulse check? You know, let's check the pulse on this here. How is it doing? Crime stuff, pretty solid. Maybe, I mean, the government fluff stuff that we've seen before, like, you know, with the whole we're going to Iraq, like, I have to say, like, just as a mild criticism, that feels way too distant to be relevant to our characters. I mean, I understand, like, Ash talking about it, but for me, the terms in which he should have delivered his talk about it should be much more personal. Like, he never once, for example, brings up Griff or Shorter. Like, he doesn't say, for example, you know, all these people in Iraq, or wait, did they call it Kefkistan? What did they call it? What did they call it? Because they did not call
The villain from Final Fantasy VI has his own territory.
They did not call it Afghanistan.
I can't do the
Afghanistan or
Kefka laughter.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll just call it Unspecifiedistan. There we go.
The fucking music.
So yeah, they, like, he doesn't, for example, say like all the people over there. What happens to Griffin Shores happens to them. So I can, if they strips out all, like, you know, the government conspiracy shit, I would be absolutely fine with it. I would be absolutely fine with that. The boilerplate stuff, as I say, it's going on really well. I enjoy all the scenes between the two. Part of me wishes it would pick up the pace a little bit, but part of me also accepts the context, you know, of the other plot threads, suppresses that. It makes sense. We can't go too far into it because otherwise then it's, you know, it's kind of whack that it's like, you know, they're having candlelit dinners and stuff and beam each other's eyes while next thing you know, Galzine or Arthur over there with a fucking anti-material rifle. Like, right, you little pipsqueak.
Yeah, damn it. You said something I wanted to respond to, and then I read something in the chat, and it distracted me.
Was it Hate Boner?
It was not Hate Boner. What were you just talking about?
I was talking about the idea of contracts. You know,
No, after all that. Oh, fuck, man. It left my brain. God damn it.
Buffalo, you let me down.
I'm sorry. I know, but
I'm
hey, listen.
I'm kidding.
Buffalo is no elephant when it comes to memory.
Oh dear.
The elephant never forgets, but the buffalo always and often forgets.
And the cock is always hard to get a hold of anyway, so there you go.
You bastard.
Next point.
Look, don't stop me. Can't.
You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. All right.
Contain the cock.
Next point. This relates to something, or kind of relates to something. Oh yes, I know what I was gonna say. I think.
There we go.
So, and also, like, in terms of like the pace of the relationship and everything, and how kind of physically intimate it is, or how, you know, declarative and definite the romantic part of it is. Also always important to remember that this show is a, you know, product of its time in terms of storytelling, in terms of tropes, in terms of coding, in terms of like what was acceptable and for the editors of the magazines and all this other stuff. So all that, huge caveat on, like, and we understand that. I think when looking at the Banana Fish story and the kind of main relationship. Next point is, do you remember when Ash says to Max, "If I die, will you pursue this case to the end?"
Mm-hmm. I do.
How committed do you think Ash is to seeing this through?
I think Ash is definitely committed to seeing Galzine, you know, being buried under, you know, a landslide of, you know, toxic waste or whatever he can find. Committed to dealing with the, you know, government? Different question. Because don't get it wrong, like, you know, killing Galzine isn't going to stop the government from, you know, pursuing Banana Fish's, you know, projects for their gains.
Mm-hmm.
And conversely, let's say before dealing with Galzine that Ash decides to off the senators that were mentioned, Mr. Smiles, for example. He's going to turn that frown upside down when he shoots him dead. So imagine if he, deals with them first. Does that stop Galsey? No. So here's the thing, though. If he deals with one, the other's going to come down in like a ton of bricks. Kills Galsey. What's going to happen then? BI? National Guard? SEAL Team 6? Who knows? Other way around. Deals with the government first, takes them out. They'll still come after him. Galsey will be like, well, you kick the hornet's nest now. So I think the question is maybe that he is dedicated to seeing it through, but maybe he's thinking that he can't see both these things through simultaneously because it's just not going to be possible for him to do. He's dealing with powerful forces. He's got the fucking US government against him.
Right. Like, I guess to add a bit to what I'm trying to get at, you talked about Ash's self-destructive nature, and Trickster is talking about that kind of being an in the air in the 80s. When it comes to, I guess, tragic heroes, that there was a lot of doom and gloom, like, there were epidemics, the AIDS crisis, there was the Cold War we were in the middle of, spies, Russia, the Red Scare, all this stuff was either in the middle of happening or had recently happened, and so that the self-destructive nature of a young hero like that is congruent with the time, or reflective of the time is what I mean to say. Do you, like, I know Ash has come out to Golzine and said, I want to fuck up your shit. But do we think, do you think what he really just wants to do was, like, drive a truck into the club again? And, like, kamikaze kill this guy and then leave Max and everybody to pick up the pieces?
Well. Do you recall 91 Days? Do you recall how that show ended? In the end,
kind of. I recall the ending. It's been a couple years.
Killing. I can't remember what his name is. The lead, crap. Can't remember his name. The name of the head of the family, the mafia family who killed Angela's parents. He destroys their entire family and leaves him alive, and says to him on the beach, "Killing you now wouldn't bring me any solace. I've burned your house down. You have nothing. You can't rebuild from this. I'm content, so you can take my life."
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's possibly what Ash is going for. He's not trying to kill Golzine anymore, but ruin him. Leave him as an empty shell. Now, that, of course,
But extinguishing his own life in the process, I guess.
Yes.
Because he does really... he doesn't...
And here's the thing, Angelo in 91 Days, though, he had nothing, though, to live for. As far as I'm concerned, his death, his physical death, was a formality.
Mm-hmm.
It was, the full stop on the end of the sentence that was, the night's events when he was younger, where his family were murdered.
Right.
He was dead since then. He was a shell of his former self. So, understandably, again, going back to the contract thing, 91 Days was sold on, to me at least, on the idea of it being a melodramatic, crime doesn't pay, crime is an all-consuming flame that devours all within, poisons generations, travels down, until nothing is left but ash and ruin in its wake. Banana Fish, no. Banana Fish is about people caught in fire, burning in fire. We saw that as much with, the scene with Ash, in the laboratory when he burns it down. But it offers an out. It offers the out of compassion and love, the relationship stuff that we've mentioned before. So, I think the idea is that for the moment, Ash has a plan, which is he's going to destroy Golzine, if not outright kill him. I think destroying him is certainly more of, the thing. He took, obviously, great pleasure in robbing Golzine of all of his money. He clearly didn't need that much money for the condo. But he cooked that goose real good. So, I think that's his goal right now.
How much does he want to die?
Well, Here's the thing. If he did die, you know what you'd do? You would set AG free.
Right. Sure. In his own mind.
Yeah.
Sure.
In his own head. What other way to stop him from going back to see him if he were... Simple as that. But the question then is, I suppose, not so much what his goal is right now, but will it change over time? Will he, he started to soften a little bit. We've seen, like, Shades of him being embarrassed by himself. Like, the stuff with the pumpkin, like, where he says, I'll cry, like, if you don't take those pumpkins away. Like, good comedy, but serves as an insight into him becoming a different person. The edges sanding away a little bit in a good way. Like, he's becoming more dimensional. He's becoming like the heart side of beast again. There is something in there that lives. So I'm more curious to see, like, how is this gonna go? What's his end goal right now, and where is it at the end?
Yeah. Did Yudlung say something about Ash not wanting to die?
I think he did.
Yeah. Man. I don't know, though. Yudlung is pretty perceptive, but... maybe this is the kind of internal tension within Ash, right? He's led a really shitty life. Like, Trickster pointed out earlier, like, why is Ash even still alive? Like, what's going on with that? Like, what's pushing him forward? And I guess besides the sort of base instinct to keep yourself alive, because he really does seem like one of those, like, live fast and die young types, very reckless. Yudlung said he doesn't want to die, but fucking Arthur, who, like, look, as shitty as he is, like, I think he's right when he says about Ash, he came to Bloody Canes alone because he's not afraid to die. And people that don't fear death,
Is it now time for an incredibly cheesy 80s action line?
Yes, it's never not time.
Well, in that case, maybe he's not afraid to die, but he is afraid to live. I don't have a microphone in my hand, but I'd be dropping it so hard right now.
Let off some steam, Bennett. Stick around.
I could not resist when you said that. I'm so sorry. I'm so very sorry, but there's a grain of truth to that, to be fair.
Yeah, sure. I guess to just come out and say what I'm thinking, like, he's got his love for Eiji, and he's got his self-destructive tendency that are totally at odds within him. Mm-hmm. And I think they're just wrestling with each other and in constant conflict. He's putting himself at great risk all the time, and he knows that. And yeah, do you think what is going to happen when he tries to send Eiji away here?
Sorry, you broke up there.
What do you think is going to happen when he tries to send Eiji away here with eBay on the plane?
I think Eiji is going to get on the plane, but he's going to come back.
Oh, you think he's going to go and return? That's interesting.
Because the way, like, imagine this, right? Imagine this from the audience's perspective. Again, someone who doesn't know shit all about the manga, so apologies if this is how it plays out. But imagine if we, have it play out where Eiji gets on the plane, and then we just get, like, maybe half an episode of him just doing normal shit in Japan. Complete contrast to the insanity that's happened before. He's living a normal life.
I don't know if they have. Do they have time to do that? But I don't know.
Probably not. But I'm throwing it out there as an idea because then he says, like, no, I've got to go back. And because we, of course, the audience haven't then seen what's happened while he's been away, we come back and everything's complete fucking chaos. More so than normal. But anyway. So I reckon I'm going to put a bet on. He's going to go, but he'll be back quickly. Relatively quickly, I would say. Because I can't see how he would get off the plane or be stopped from getting on it. Because Ash, has his means and his ways of, making shit happen inexplicably.
Yes.
eBay's certainly not going to protest the idea. I mean, can you imagine eBay coming back, like, saying, going up to, AG's parents, oh, where's AG? And like, oh yeah, kind of left him in America with, a gang war going on, and he's kind of like, bunking up with the boss of one of them. But it's totally okay. He sent me an Instagram the other night. It was fine. He's looking good.
A Vine.
Yeah.
No, it's present day. No more Vine.
Sadly so.
They'll call it, I don't know, Vent. Or Vind. All right. Well, that was...
Trixie, yeah.
That was my last... Oh, wait. So, more symmetry. Golzine leaving on the jet plane instead of AG here. Right. For sure.
Oh, man. Can you imagine if on the plane back to New York, if
oh
my theory follows through, and then AG's just there like, okay, he just sits down and looks to his right, and there's Golzine sat on the aisle opposite.
Holy shit, dude.
Golzine's there like, the attendant comes by, excuse me, sir, would you like it? He goes, why, yes, I would like a glass of wine. Wouldn't you, young sir?
Da-da-da. Da-da-da. Like, oh my god. Yeah, his flight got delayed till the next morning. Oh my god.
Oh, that would be the... Oh, no. Ugh. The skin's crawling thinking about it. Fuck.
All right. I think that we have... I think we've exhausted our talking points, because you got my last one already, unless you have anything more to add.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Great.
I've said everything I need to say.
All right. Rate the episode, my friend. What do you give it?
Solid episode overall. Very fun. Great to see Arthur, being as useless as he always is. Fuck that guy. Fuck everything he, touches. May the ground he walks on forever be purged with salt and fire. Doesn't, to me, quite reach the heights of the previous episode.
No.
But I still really, really enjoyed it. It's a great setup for things to come. So, in the end, I am going to go with 4 out of 5 Dicks of the Goblins. I mean, no joke, Nate. I mean, how can I not?
Ah!
How can I not?
Oh, God. Very good. I'm going to go a little higher because I really enjoyed the more tender moments in this episode. I mean, I liked the goofy tender ones, but I really loved the serious tender moments. And not even tender.
Both really well.
Not even, but just like the fight as well. Yeah, just all the Ash Age stuff is so good. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 Pyro Jacks.
Nice.
No. I'm sorry. I meant 4.5 because I said I would go higher than you. So 4.5 Pyro Jacks.
You're correct, Blue Sea. That is Agritsuko. An Agritsuko stress ball, no less.
Yep. Yeah, this is...
Doc is well prepared.
Yeah, there are several of these. The one with the super metal face that she makes, and one with the kind of like sort of putting on a forced smile for the boss face. But I like this like vein popping, like I'm, just about to...
We need to come up with a new
face.
rating system for the episodes where you use one of those depending on how you feel.
And when I think about Arthur, I just want to smush the stress ball.
I was thinking more setting them on fire, to be honest.
All right. Well, that's the episode. Let's pay one last visit to the Twitter poll. Next episode is going to be amazing if done right, says Mirror. I hate that I have to wait an extra week for it. I know, no banana fish next for this week. So... We're going to be a little lighter on content. I don't know, maybe we'll try to stream some games or something. You could, if you just are having a hankering, a craving to hear us, you could go and check out our archive. We've done a lot of good podcasts.
If you want to hear me get angry, there's plenty of angry episodes on here.
There's a lot of angry ones where you talk about Darling in the Franxx. We get angry at Phantom, Requiem for the Phantom. Don't put your phantom in my phantom. There's an Elfin Lead one. There's a lot of...
oh, God.
There's a long time ago, man.
Fucking dog. I cannot forget
I can't.
Shit.
That's a lasting memory. It's been like 3 years since we did that episode.
Okay.
Well,
all right,
two.
Small preview.
Two, but...
Small preview. But, Like, there's a character who's a homeless girl who loves a fucking dog that she met out of nowhere. And this lady comes up and takes the dog away from her and says, "This dog is mine. You don't have to touch me anymore, you awful homeless child. Piss the fuck off." And then it's all very sad and mellow. And then, of course, the girl gets picks up and, looks after by the lead protagonist. By the way, I'm making this sound immensely better excuse than it actually was, because in reality, it was like watching a car crash unfold on screen. And, like, one of the lessons I learned as a kid was that a dog is for life, not for Christmas. So in anime writing, a dog is for as long as is necessary in the narrative, and then not to be replaced immediately thereafter in the next episode as if though it never happened. But the writers of Elfen Lied didn't get that memo because they're completely incompetent morons. So immediate next episode, the same dog, same breed is back, despite the fact the lady in question said, "You ain't touching my dog ever again," and in theory should have never been seen again. And people say Elfen Lied's a classic, and I'm like, what? Really?
Boy.
Like Freddy Got Fingered? That's a fucking classic as far as I've been told.
That was a different time. That was a different time in anime, man. Boy, Elfen Lied was rough. There's episodes of us talking about really nice things that we like Kyoso Giga, like Berserk, like Macross Frontier, and also the next Macross. If you check the Warui Deshou Twitter account, I've retweeted an episode of Gwen Campbell's Macross-themed podcast. It used to be called the Speaker Podcast, but I think it's Deculture Shock now. And we, along with several other people, discussed what we wanted to see in the new Macross anime, because we're really big Macross fans. I know Blue Sea is not a great fan of it, but we really like it a bunch. And so check that out if you want to hear our thoughts, what we would like from the new one coming out. Just visit our SoundCloud or our iTunes feed or whatever, and you can look at all our episodes. I have an idea, by the way, for the next Mystery Bando Theater. It's going to be real bad. Mystery Bando Theater is going to be real bad.
Is it going to be Psychic Wars punching cancer bad?
We haven't done... When's the last time we did one? It was Psychic Wars, but when was that? I feel like that was last year.
That was a while ago.
I don't know if we've done one in 2018. So we need to remedy that. And
we need... Yes. Oh, fuck. No. Please, no.
Oh, man. But
Jesus Christ. If I wanted to hurt myself, I'd fall down a flight of stairs.
All right.
Why would you do this to me?
Well, thank you, everybody, so much.
Indeed, thank you
for tuning in. Chat's been great. We've had a couple new faces. We've had...
You're all awesome.
Great discussion from the chat veterans that have been here since for weeks and weeks. We appreciate everybody coming out to just have some fun banana fish talk and anime discussion in general. And for everybody watching the VOD, also listening on podcasts via SoundCloud, iTunes, whatever, thank you. We really appreciate you. And if you want to communicate with us, you could tweet us at Warui Deshou. You could email us, waruideshou, WARUIDESHOU, @gmail.com. But if you want to get a hold of Shadon specifically, Shadon, what should people do?
Well, I've not quite changed my Twitter handle yet to Cock of the Werewolves, but that'll be happening fairly soon.
Don't do it. No, don't do it.
It's too long, unfortunately. The handle. Wait, no, shit. Oh. You can, of course, find me at Shadon1010 on Twitter, and I do have a Curious Cat, curiouscat.a/Shadon. I just remind everyone, like, if you're interested in the fighting game side of things, or you want to hear me gabbing off really loudly about fighting games, I will be at the Revolution 2018 in London. I will put a link out to the stream when it goes live. You can expect to hear me shine down a microphone about Guilty Gear and fighting games for much of the day. Stream myself hoarse. It's going to be great.
It is going to be super fun. Okay. If you want to...
what about you, Buffalo?
Well,
Go on, Buffalo.
If you want to talk to Buffalo of the Office Supply Closet, at The Subtle Doctor on Twitter, hit me up. Please engage. You know, sometimes I worry if I come across unapproachable online because maybe this is just a symptom of me not knowing that most of my followers are robots. But I have a number of followers that might make you think that I have a lot of Twitter interactions, but there are not a lot of people engaging me. So feel free to at me about whatever. Talk to me.
Talk to him.
I want to talk to you about banana fish, or Japanese wrestling, or future funk, Liverpool Football Club, lefty politics, or others. So we've passed the 2-hour mark. We should end this thing. We should make like Ash to Maxie and Waxy and put a bullet in it. Ruined the joke by not remembering the name.
Sorry, I'm gonna be like my namesake. I'm gonna be Cock of the Wealth and I'm gonna be back at the moon.
Very good. Well, on that note, thanks everyone again, and until next time, which I guess will be a fortnight from now, embrace each other, everyone, to the ends of the universe.
Indeed. Have a good night, everyone.